Alright, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Susan. Coming at you with a special fight review. We're going to be covering 4 fights tonight. We're going to Biloxi, Mississippi for iKon Fighting Federation number 5 that aired live on UFC Fight Pass. First time for iKon back in the US since iKon 1, which was also in Biloxi. They spent the last 3 events down there in Mexico, but they, like I said, they came big on Friday night with 4 ladies bouts, and going to be covering all 4 of them. So first up, we're going to the Flyweight division. Alexandra Below coming in at 1-0, taking on Griffin Fisk, making her pro debut. Nice fast fight here. Below came out the aggressor, started coming towards Fisk, trying to trap her in the corner, but it was Fisk who was able to get on the outside and get Below into the corner. She started working on a takedown against the ropes and then eventually was able to duck under it and drag Below into the corner with Fisk, like had her arms around her from behind and dragged Below into the corner. From there, once she got Below into the corner, Fisk reached one leg around to get a hook in and then hopped up for the other. Immediately started looking for the choke. Below kind of slow to defend. Fisk got that rear naked choke in, and it was in tight, and Below's face just went, like 3-4 shades of red. Eventually, she started to fight it off, but then she just collapsed to the mat, unconscious, and the referee waved it off at 1 minute and 58 seconds for your winner via technical submission due to rear naked choke, Griffin Fisk. Nice debut here for Griffin Fisk. Very impressive, just used the ring very effectively. And what's one thing about iKon, they used a ring instead of the cage for this event because they operate in conjunction with Roy Jones Jr. Boxing. So they used a ring, and Fisk, I don't know if they have a ring at her gym that she uses to practice on, but she had very nice ring generalship, backing Below into the corner, trying to go for the takedown against the ropes, but then when she got Below in, reached around and pulled her into the corner, which allowed Fisk to kind of like have a backing for when she took the back. Very nice effort there by Griffin Fisk. Very nice pro debut. For fight number 2, we move down to the Strawweight division. Shauna Ormsby coming in at 2-2. Taking on Macy Bro, making her pro debut, another debutante this evening. They came out and Bro did a nice duck under to get a body lock from behind on Ormsby and just very smoothly dragged Ormsby down to the ground. Bro had back control and then slowly worked her way around, grabbed a hook, and then used that hook to convert over into really like a quarter mount, almost mount, but not quite mount, like a quarter guard, I should say. And from there, very nice hip control and weight control and positioning by Macy Bro in that position. Started landing ground and pound. Ormsby just really on the defensive, not really able to move around too much because Ormsby just very heavy on her hips and stayed low towards the hips of Ormsby. So that position and that weight bout distribution allowed Ormsby to just land some really nice ground and pound, mostly a lot of hammer fists, but some elbows as well. Eventually, Ormsby moved around enough that Bro was able to get to full mount towards the final minute and just really started hammering some ground and pound, especially once it got to like the 30 second left. Bro just really started hammering home some hard elbows and some punches, and everywhere direction Ormsby just tried to move. She was just unable to escape, really didn't have any answer for Bro's heavy, hard striking, and the referee finally had enough and stepped in and stopped it for TKO winner Macy Bro. Topology says 4 minutes 50 seconds. It was closer to like 4 minutes 43 to 45 seconds, but I'm not going to nitpick it. Nice debut there for Macy Bro. I really liked the way she ducked under, grabbed that body lock, and just the dragging of Ormsby down. You know, I say drag, but it was just really just pulled her down. It was so smooth to take the back, and then the way she converted, you know, rolled around to like the quarter guard and the mount was just very smooth. And then the ground and pound that she was, like I said, she was able to land the ground and pound because of, you know, how balanced she was with her weight distribution, which was really nice. One thing I will say though, according to the tale of the tape, Macy Brew missed weight. She was like 2 pounds over the absolute limit of 116. Got to make weight next time, Macy. It's just not a good look when you miss weight on your pro debut. So for the third fight, we stuck at Strawweight. We had Isis Verbeek and Valerie Wong, both fighters coming in with 0-1 record, looking to get their first win. First round, early takedown by Wong, got into Verbeek's guard, and then she was able to pass to half guard. However, Verbeek was able to sweep and get to Wong's guard. Now from there, Wong on bottom mostly tried to control Verbeek's posture, keep her broken down, hold her down, while Verbeek decided to, you know, pick her shots from on top. And I would say she landed the harder shots from on top. Wong occasionally landing some short, small shots from bottom, but I definitely saw it for Verbeek. She was getting the better shots, and she was on top as well. Second round, you know, Verbeek started to, you know, get into her rhythm more. She was able to keep Wong in her wheelhouse, you know, started landing short combos, you know, inside the pocket before returning to the outside. And, you know, Verbeek occasionally started landing big shots as well as her confidence grew. And honestly, Wong, she was just unable to gain the respect of Verbeek on the feet. Now, Wong did get a takedown at about the 3-minute mark and was then able to pass to mount and throw ground and pound, you know, whenever she could for the remainder of the round. So depending on what you saw as more important, that was probably the hardest round to judge for me. And then in the third, final round, you know, Verbeek, she was totally confident in her striking by this point and just really even started to throw more kicks in with her strikes and still landing those, you know, the short combos at range or in the pocket and keeping Valerie Wong at the end of her shots. And honestly, Wong, she just was falling behind on the feet. Now, she went for one takedown and it got stopped. And then on the second attempt, Verbeek was able to reverse and land in Wong's guard. Now, they showed on the replay that Verbeek kind of snuck, you know, a mix of the, you know, grab of the rope in, and it allowed her to stay on the outside and land into Wong's guard. Bit of a dirty trick there, but, you know, from the top, Verbeek just landed more ground and pound from Wong's guard for the remainder of the round. So I went to the judges, and all three saw the fight for Isis Verbeek to beat Valerie Wong. Two of them saw it 29-28. One of them saw it 30-27. I agree with the 29-28 score. I had to give Wong the second round because she was getting outstruck on the feet, but she spent like almost 2 entire minutes in mount and landing ground and pound. So I agree with those two of the judges' scores there. For things to work on, Wong, you know, she's got decent takedowns, not bad on top. Needs to work on, you know, her guard game, you know, creating distance from bottom and working back to either a sweep or back to her feet. I think she spent too much time on bottom in guard, and then also really needs to work on her striking. Verbeek, you know, it had been a while since I'd seen. She only fought MMA once before, and it was several years ago for Invicta. Big improvement, I thought. You know, marked improvement in her takedown defense, and, you know, that sweep. Never would have seen that from her in her first fight. So a lot of improvement there from Isis Verbeek. Okay, so sticking with strawweight for the fourth and final bout, we have Emily King coming in at 4-4, taking on Kayla K-Rock Rocco coming in at 3-2. And the theme of this fight, and it was my favorite of the night because of this stylistic matchup, was really kicker versus puncher. So first round, Rocco started out having a hard time, getting inside Kane's kicks, at first. Kane was coming forward and was throwing some lead leg kicks, and Rocco was having a hard time dealing with them. Rocco, however, did get a takedown, and she passed the side control, but Kane slowly worked her way out, and Rocco let her stand. And from there, Rocco started to find a home for her hands a little bit better. Rocco landed another takedown, but ate like a bunch of elbows from King, so decided to let her stand back up again, and from there it just played out a little bit for the rest of the round on the feet. In the second round, Rocco started to figure out a counter to King's kicks by throwing a lead right hand to the body, and as that wore on, she then started to go from the lead right hand to the body, and then started to go up top as well. Now King adapted to that by, instead of throwing just single kicks all the time, after she would throw a kick, she'd start throwing strikes to the head. So each one was able to adapt mid-fight, which I thought was really nice to see. King actually landed an uppercut that stunned Rocco for a little bit at one point, and then there was a takedown by King, and unfortunately the fighters got tangled in the ropes. And just want to pause this for a second to say, it's nice to see an MMA fight in a ring every once in a while, but sometimes you're still reminded that no matter what you might think, the cage is definitely the better environment for MMA, because you just don't have, people falling out of the cage or getting tangled in ropes like you do with the ring. So while the ring is nice every once in a while, I still feel that the cage is the better environment because of that. Now, for whatever reason, the ref decided to reset them on the feet, even though it was a good takedown by King. Not sure why. And they continued with the same striking game on the feet for the rest of the round. Now, for the third and final round, King, she continued to come forward with her kicks, and then would throw the kick and then throw punches. Rocco still kept going to the body and then going high as the counter. Now, deciding who was landing the harder of the strikes, I got to go with King. When she was landing those kicks, some of them were landing hard. Rocco's punches were landing, but they weren't showing as much damage, whereas Rocco was starting to wear the damage from the kicks on her face. Now then, within the final 10 seconds, they're still exchanging strikes. King throws a kick. Rocco kind of catches it. King starts throwing hands, and Rocco starts bobbing and weaving. She ducks to the right, out of the way of one of King's punches. King immediately throws a left kick, smacks Rocco dead in the face, drops her. King pounces on her, takes her back, immediately starts to go for the choke, but just no time left. So the fight ended right there, and it went to the judges, and all three judges saw the winner, Emily King, 29-28 scores across the board. Rocco didn't seem happy with that, but the commentators were saying it as well. King was basically leading the fight. Rocco was circling on the outside, but King was basically, the one moving forward, forcing Rocco to move around on the outside. And King was landing the harder strikes, and Rocco was showing the damage on her face. So I have to agree with that there. For things to work on, for Rocco, she's having a hard time dealing with the southpaw stance of King, also dealing with the lead leg with the sideways stance, combined with the southpaw and the lead kicks. Maybe try to find a training partner that fights with that style a little bit, or have someone emulate that style to better train for it in the future, I think would work. I did like, however, how she adapted to answering the kicks with the lead right hand to the body, and then she started going up top after that started working for a while. Then she started going up top as well. So she moved into strikes. I'd like to see her do that from the beginning of the fight, though. Just, go high-low or low-high. Really nice effort there, and I'd like to see some more of that. For King, she throws too many single strikes, and it really took her till about halfway through the second round to start throwing more than just single strikes. So gotta throw more single strikes. And also, I think Gonzalez was on the commentary, and she said, King kind of reminds you of Roxanne Modafferi. She has that happy warrior mentality. And I have to agree. Like, she's not nerdy like Roxy, but she has that, she always just seems like happy and like really cheerful to be there or whatever. Emily's got to get mean when she goes into fight mode. Like, you want to be happy and cheerful before the fight and after the fight. Great. Cool. It's appealing. But you got to get mean in the fight, She just doesn't seem like she's throwing strikes with anger. She's got to get mean and, put some anger in those strikes. That's really all I have for her as well. So those are my thoughts on iKon number 5 on the fights. Now, this fight took place in Mississippi, which recently reopened fully. So there was a crowd there. I don't know if it was like totally capacity, but like the lower levels in that arena were full. And whatever your opinions on the politics and everything surrounding this whole lockdown situation last year, I think we can all agree that it was nice to see a night of fights with a capacity crowd cheering on the fights and like a bit of a return to normalcy. I mean, whatever your thoughts are, I think it was nice to see that. But nice night of fights from iKon. It's regional level MMA, but it is nice to see it on Fight Pass, and it's nice to see, these young ladies that are, just most of them were just starting their career and trying to build their way up and showing some improvement along the way. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on the fights in the comments down below. Like I said, they're available on Fight Pass. And if you liked the video, please like it, share it as well. And while you're at it, go ahead, subscribe, and hit that bell for WMMA Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.